What's up, homies? This is the Killer Nacho again with another exciting black and white battle. This time I am fighting Flightlessbird60, and he is from the TPX chat. Alright, so he leads with this guy who's a normal type, and I don't even remember its name, but it's weird, so I'm not even going to bother looking it up. At least until, I have to, write in the video description, things. Oh well, so anyway, I triggered a choice scarf, and he's gonna I don't even know. He U-turns, that's what he does, which is a pretty good thing to do if you're getting choice scarfed. Alright, so now he goes out into Salamence, and I'm like, heck no, I don't want to take a fire move, so I go out into Sal, my awesome Swampert. And it's not gonna be very effective against Sal, which is effective for me. Alright, so now I'm kind of thinking he's going to switch, so I decide to set up the Stealth Rocks, because Stealth Rocks are, a pretty nice thing to set up, usually. And now his team has Stealth Rocks. He goes out into this, grass monkey thing, which I also really don't care to look up, but I'm going to guess it's the name that it has. It's Simisage. That sounds about right. So this Simisage thing is going to Brick Break, and I kind of did it kind of predicting that I go back out into my hacks, which is the awesome name for a Jirachi, because that's all Jirachi really does is hacks. Anyway, I go for a Fire Punch right in his face, and it does kind of work, but then he eats the citrus berry, so he's back to half health. But I know another Fire Punch will wipe him out, so I'm just gonna go for the Steel move, because he's gonna switch, obviously. And he does, so that was a sweet prediction. Actually, it was a pretty obvious prediction. So I just go for the Iron Head against this Salamence, and it does not look like it'll one-hit KO or two-hit KO, but I decided to try to go for it anyway. Actually, except as you see, I missed. I misclicked. I wanted to go for the Iron Head to try to hacks him out due to the 60% chance to flinch that he has on Jirachi. But I was a noob and misclicked, and that was a noob again. I go out in Excalibur thinking he'd switch, so I trick and end up giving this Dragonite a choice specs when it uses Draco Meteor. So that was rather fail. I am looking like a complete and utter noob right now, and I just lost my Latios, so that really stinks. Anyway, I do have a Steel type, so I go out into Slash, which is an awesome name. It's a Chrono Trigger reference. If you might remember, Slash is one of Magus's generals, but I know he's locked into that, and I just go for a sub, hoping that my sub can take one Draco Meteor, but it does not, which is really sad, but I do still set up the Swords Dance, so at least I get that up. I was really hoping that I'd be able to survive, or my sub would be able to survive a Draco Meteor, but it doesn't, and that just sucks. Anyway, so I'm gonna go for the Sucker Punch, hoping that he'd stay in and try to kill me, but he doesn't. He predicted the Sucker Punch, apparently, and goes out into the Monkey again. And that doesn't work. So now I know this thing's faster. I go for the Sucker Punch this time, and he does go for an attacking move. Maybe he was hoping I'd overpredict, but I do not, and his monkey thing is dead. So he goes out into You Died Too Quick. Once again, his Salamence, and I'm just going to go for the Sucker Punch again, because you know what? I don't know what else a Choice Specs Salamence will really do. I guess he tries to use the Intimidate, but I have Defiant, so that is an epic fail on his part. And I just get another Sucker Punch off, and that's a dead Mence. So now he goes out into Venomoth, and I kind of figured this thing is just going to set up this turn. And he does. He goes for the Quiver Dance, and I just go for Sucker Punch anyway, because I don't want to over-predict at this point. Slash doesn't have a whole lot of health left. And not to mention, obviously, being that this thing's like a poison type, Brick Break won't do a whole lot, and that's my other attacking move. But this time, he does. I don't overpredict again, which is good. So that makes up for it. He thought I'd overpredict and go Brick Break that turn. But I just finished him off with Sucker Punch because he tried to attack me, and that's awesome. Anyway, I'm faster than this Ex-Cavalier, so I go for the Brick Break. Unfortunately, I don't kill. He survives, and that's kind of like, no. But either way, my Bisharp, I think its actual name is, Slash. I did pretty damn well, actually, for a Pokemon I didn't expect much from. So I go into Royal Pain, my Nidoking, and then he goes out into his own Nidoking, and I am never comfortable with Speed Ties. That's what I assume it is, because I always lose Speed Ties. I can never win Speed Ties. So I just go out into Miss Magus, knowing that, I'm faster than Nidoking, and I can just set up a Calm Mind and stuff, because that's what I do, and after a Calm Mind, he shouldn't be doing a whole lot to me. So he goes for the Ice Beam. It does actually decent damage, more than I thought it would, but now I set up a Calm Mind. I have the Hidden Power Fighting, so I know I can blast this normal guy into an Oblivion. Granted, I survive a hit, and I don't think this thing has a whole lot of attack, as I recall. It probably does, because I'm probably wrong, because I didn't even bother to look this thing up. But it ends up critting me. and with, hitting 5 times, that's gonna kill me. I don't know if that crit mattered. It probably did, and that sucks either way, because I had the hidden power fighting, and I was going to blast him into oblivion, but oh well, that's life. I go back into Royal Pain, knowing that he's locked into a rock move, and, Nido King is going to take that like a champ, because I resist rock and stuff. And now I'm just going to go for the Life Orb, Sheer Force, Earth Power, which is ridiculously strong. So ridiculously strong that it kills the thing in one hit, which is actually, I don't know. It was kind of surprising. I didn't really know that guy's stats. I still don't, and I don't really care. But still, it's kind of nice to one-hit KO things. Anyway, so he comes in, and it ends up not being a speed tie. He said that this was like a bulky Nidoking, so it wasn't actually a speed tie, so I had nothing to fear anyway. But then again, I still haven't won a speed tie in like who knows how long. Either way, he doubtlessly could have one-hit KO'd Swampert, and obviously I have Earthquake on Swampert, so it didn't really matter if I outsped or not, really. Anyway, so that was a fun match, Flightlessbird60, and we'll have to do it again sometime. Make sure you check out his channel. He was a YouTube battler himself, I believe. So, yeah, make sure you check that out. Alright, guys, so today's question today is, once again, what is your favorite Pokemon generation? We have a new generation, so the old question today that I asked that is invalid. Not that I can remember which video that is anyway. But, 5th Gen actually could make a viable option here. I did enjoy 5th Gen. I thought the world was fun to explore and stuff, even though I didn't really like the storyline and the lame Pokemon PETA stuff. But still, I'd have to say my favorite generation of Pokemon is Gen 2. I still play it, do constant playthroughs just because it's like the funnest games for me. I don't know why. Gen 2 and Gen 1 both are like an equal thing, but I like Gen 2 better just because, I feel like there's more stuff to do, obviously, in Gen 2. But anyway, so leave a comment about your favorite Pokemon generation. It can be for any reason. You can say I like Gen 5 or Gen 4 because of, Wi-Fi, and that's a pretty good reason, but I just really didn't like Gen 4 at all, and at least the single player, and Gen 5 was also kind of weird, so I didn't like some of the Pokemon designs in Gen 5 too. But anyway, leave that comment, and see you guys later. Bye!